When you reach your 60s and beyond, one question quietly rises above the noise of daily life. Who will truly stand by you when it matters most? In your younger years, the answer feels simple: your family, your closest friends, the people you've counted on for decades. But the truth, life doesn't always stay that predictable. As the years pass, something begins to shift. People get busier. Priorities change. The children who once depended on you now have careers, marriages, kids of their own. Friends relocate, routines evolve, and slowly you begin to see a new reality emerge. A reality where the support system you thought was guaranteed isn't always there when you need it most. This video isn't about losing faith in others. It's about gaining clarity. It's about recognizing the 6 essential pillars of support that become more reliable than even family as you age. These pillars won't just protect you, they'll empower you, bring peace of mind, and help you walk into the future with strength and independence. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand these 6 pillars, you'll never feel powerless, unprepared, or alone again. Pillar 1. Your financial stability. Let's start with what many consider uncomfortable to talk about, but what may be the most vital of all your financial independence. You see, the most dependable form of support you'll ever have isn't a person, it's the security of your finances. Money may not buy happiness, but it absolutely buys options, freedom, dignity, and peace of mind. When you're financially secure, you don't have to ask. You don't have to wait. You don't have to feel like a burden. Too many people over 60 believe their children will step in if times get tough. But here's the truth. Your children have their own struggles: mortgages, school fees, unexpected costs. Even with the deepest love, they might not be in a position to help. Take Richard's story. At 72, he had always been the reliable one. He helped his kids through college, paid off some of their debts, and lent a hand whenever needed. But when an unexpected medical emergency drained his savings, he turned to them only to discover they were barely keeping their own heads above water, not because they didn't love him, but because life had cornered them too. That moment opened Richard's eyes. It wasn't resentment he felt, it was realization. He had built his life around giving, but hadn't built a financial safety net for himself. That's why financial stability matters. It's not about being rich, it's about being prepared. Having a retirement plan, knowing how to budget, avoiding debt that could spiral out of control, creating an emergency fund. And most importantly, understanding that your independence starts with being able to take care of yourself, especially when no one else can. If you're in your 60s or older, ask yourself honestly, do I have enough saved for emergencies? Is my retirement income secure and sufficient? Have I protected myself from financial risks? If your answer is uncertain, now is the time to act. Learn. Adjust. Prepare. Because financial peace is not just about money, it's about reclaiming your dignity and freedom in the years ahead. Pillar 2. Your physical health. Now let's talk about something even more personal: your body. There's one thing no amount of money, love, or support from others can replace: your health. After 60, your body either becomes your greatest ally or your biggest challenge. And while others can care about you, they can't move for you, eat for you, or stop aging on your behalf. You're the only one who can. Too many people put off their health thinking, when it gets serious, someone will help me. But even the most caring family members may not have the time, energy, or ability to be your caregiver. Look at Carl's journey. At 68, he had always been active, but after retirement he got comfortable. Exercise faded. Eating habits slipped. He told himself he'd get back to it someday, but someday never came. His mobility declined, his energy dropped, and everyday tasks became draining. His kids visited when they could, but he realized no one was coming to save him from his own body. It was up to him, and that realization changed everything. You don't need to become a marathon runner, but your future depends on the small, consistent choices you make now, moving your body daily, eating foods that nourish rather than harm, and paying attention to the warning signs your body sends. Those little aches, that shortness of breath, that unexplained fatigue, they're not just aging, they're signals. Don't ignore them. Prioritize your checkups. Take your prescriptions seriously. Build routines around your health, not around convenience. Because the healthier you are, the longer you'll stay independent, the more control you'll have over your own life, and the less you'll have to rely on anyone else. At the end of the day, your strongest support isn't your children's spouse or old friends. It's your strength, your ability to walk, think, breathe, and live with energy and presence. That's the foundation everything else stands on. If you're still with me, comment Pillar 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell, because what we're about to explore next could make all the difference. Now let's move forward. Pillar 3. Your social circle. One of the greatest threats after 60 isn't physical, it's emotional. It's the creeping loneliness that settles in when your circle quietly disappears. We've just talked about the importance of physical health, your ability to stay active, mobile, and independent. But there's another kind of strength just as vital, the emotional and social support that comes not from doctors or medicine, but from the people you choose to surround yourself with. Pillar 3. Your social circle. After 60, one of the most common mistakes people make is letting their social world shrink without even noticing. It doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. Friends move away. Old routines change. Loved ones pass on. And before you realize it, your once lively calendar of coffee chats, dinner visits, and weekend outings turns into long, quiet days and even longer nights. You may think, my family will keep me company. My children will be there. And they might. But here's the honest truth, they're building lives of their own. They're juggling careers, raising kids, handling responsibilities. They may love you deeply, but they can't be your only source of companionship. That's why one of the most important pillars of support as you age is your social network, the friends, neighbors, and community connections who bring color conversation and vitality into your everyday life. These relationships are not luxuries, they are necessities. Let me tell you about Margaret. At 73, Margaret had always relied on her 2 sons for company. They loved her dearly, visited often in the early years, and called regularly. But as time passed, life got busier. The weekend visits turned into once-a-month lunches. The phone calls became less frequent. And Margaret, once surrounded by family, found herself waiting by the phone for conversations that didn't come. One day, she made a decision to stop waiting and start living. She reached out to an old friend from high school, joined a local book club, and started attending yoga classes at the community center. Slowly but surely, laughter returned to her life. Her calendar filled with new names, new stories, and new connections. She didn't replace her family. She added to her world. You see, friendships, community groups, and even casual acquaintances give you something money or family can't always provide, a sense of belonging. Whether it's the neighbor you wave to during your morning walk, the people in your fitness class, or your church group, these connections create emotional stability that grows more valuable with each passing year. And here's the good news. It's never too late to rebuild your circle. So ask yourself, who do I have in my life right now who brings me joy? Who do I talk to regularly outside of my family? Am I saying no to opportunities that could connect me to new people? If those questions are hard to answer, it may be time to expand your circle, Because a strong social network doesn't just keep you company, it reminds you that you matter, that you're not invisible, that your presence brings value and light to others. Pillar 4. Your sense of purpose. Now let's talk about something even deeper, something invisible but powerful. Your sense of purpose. After retirement, when the roles that once defined you start to fade, being a parent, a worker, a caregiver, it's easy to feel like you're drifting. You wake up with fewer obligations, the days become slower, and without realizing it, you begin to wonder, what am I here for now? The truth is, your family can love you dearly, but they can't give you purpose. That's something only you can create. A clear sense of purpose is what keeps your mind sharp, your emotions steady, and your spirit alive. It gives you a reason to wake up every morning with energy and intention. Just look at George. A retired engineer at 70, George was excited to finally relax. No more deadlines, no more stress. But after a few months, he felt restless. The days dragged on. His kids were busy. His wife had hobbies. But he felt invisible. That's when he made a bold choice to volunteer at a local elementary school, teaching children how to build things with their hands. That single decision changed his entire outlook. Every morning he had something to look forward to. The kids lit up when they saw him. He felt needed again, not as an employee, but as a mentor. His identity evolved, and with it, so did his joy. Purpose doesn't have to come from a paycheck. It can come from learning something new, mentoring someone younger, tending a garden, painting, writing, traveling, or setting a personal goal. It's not about grand achievements. It's about staying connected to what brings you meaning and delight. If you've been feeling like your best days are behind you, stop. Your purpose doesn't retire when you do. It evolves. And the more you lean into your passions and curiosities, the less you'll find yourself relying on others to bring happiness into your life. Because at the end of the day, the strongest support you can have isn't another person holding your hand, it's the fire inside you that says, I still have something to give. I still have something to live for. If you're still here and these insights are resonating with you, comment Pillar 4 below to let me know. You're still watching. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss the rest of this life-changing series. Now let's move on. Pillar 5, your emotional resilience. Because no matter how much support we have from others, life will always test us, and when it does, the strongest anchor we have is the one inside. We just explored the power of having a sense of purpose, something that keeps your heart engaged and your mind alive. But even with purpose, life has a way of testing us. That's where the next pillar becomes essential, the quiet inner strength known as emotional resilience. Pillar 5, your emotional resilience. Emotional resilience isn't about pretending to be strong all the time. It's not about bottling up your feelings or forcing a smile when you're breaking inside. It's about learning how to process pain in healthy, constructive ways. It's about finding balance when the world feels heavy. It's about having tools, whether it's journaling, prayer, meditation, therapy, or simply talking to a trusted friend, that help you come back to yourself again and again. Because no matter how much support others offer, the one person who is guaranteed to be with you through every hardship and every triumph is you. Too often people over 60 place the weight of their emotional needs on their family. They expect their children, siblings, or relatives to always be available for comfort, reassurance, or guidance. But the reality is everyone is navigating their own struggles. Your loved ones may care deeply, but they may not always have the emotional bandwidth to be your anchor. And that's okay. What truly keeps you afloat in life is the ability to self-soothe, to reflect, and to heal from within. Take the story of Helen. She lost her husband of 40 years, a man who had been her rock, her partner, her daily companion. The grief was overwhelming. At first, Helen leaned heavily on her adult children, hoping their presence would help ease the pain. And while they were supportive, they had their own families' jobs and responsibilities. Eventually, Helen had a choice: let the loneliness consume her or rebuild from within. She chose healing. She joined a local grief support group, started keeping a daily gratitude journal, and embraced quiet moments of self-reflection. Over time, she didn't just recover, she transformed. She discovered that while the pain of loss never fully disappears, she had the strength to carry it without letting it define her. That's the power of emotional resilience. It's not about erasing sorrow. It's about building a foundation inside yourself that says, no matter what happens, I can handle this. I can keep going. The more you develop this kind of inner strength, the less you rely on others to lift you up, and the more peace you'll find in knowing that you're capable of healing, adapting, and rising again. Pillar 6, your ability to adapt. And that leads us to the 6th and final pillar: adaptability. If there's one thing guaranteed in life after 60, it's this: change is constant. People move, circumstances shift. What once felt familiar may no longer be within reach. The key to thriving isn't resisting these changes, it's learning how to flow with them. Some of the people who struggle most in their later years are those who cling to the past. They resist technology. They avoid new friendships. They say things like, "I'm too old for this," or "things just aren't the way they used to be." And while those feelings are valid, holding on too tightly to what was can prevent you from embracing the beautiful possibilities of what is. On the other hand, those who continue to grow, to learn, to stretch themselves, they find joy in unexpected places. Consider Frank. At 78, he had always been the life of the party. He thrived on in-person friendships. But as the years passed, many of his old friends moved away or passed on. At first he felt isolated. He assumed this was simply part of aging. But then he made a choice. He decided to adapt. Frank learned how to use video calls so he could chat with distant family. He joined an online discussion group for history lovers. He even made a few new friends from other countries, people he never would have met otherwise. What started as loss became opportunity. He didn't just survive the changes, he grew because of them. Adaptability isn't just about accepting change, it's about actively welcoming it. It's about saying, "What's next?" instead of "Why me?" The people who thrive after 60 aren't always the strongest, wealthiest, or most supported. They're the ones who remain curious, who are willing to try new things, who don't let a closed door stop them, they find another. Whether it's learning a new skill, adjusting your routine, or finding new ways to connect, your ability to adapt may be the most powerful pillar of all. Because the more you embrace change, the less afraid you are of the unknown, and the more open you become to the gifts every season of life has to offer. Final thoughts: the foundation that carries you forward. Reaching your 60s and beyond is a season filled with wisdom but also unique challenges. And while family may always hold a special place in your heart, the truth is that your most reliable support doesn't come from others. It comes from the foundation you build for yourself. Let's recap. Your financial stability gives you freedom and peace of mind. Your physical health sustains your independence. Your social circle keeps you connected and emotionally fulfilled. Your sense of purpose gives your days meaning. Your emotional resilience strengthens you from the inside out. Your ability to adapt keeps you growing no matter what life brings. When these 6 pillars are in place, you're not just aging, you're thriving. You're no longer waiting for someone to rescue you. You're equipped, prepared, empowered. Because true stability doesn't come from hoping someone will show up. It comes from knowing that you've already built the strength to stand on your own. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, Please leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today. Let us know how you plan to apply it in your own life. Your stories mean so much to us, and your engagement helps us keep creating meaningful content that supports and inspires you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and remember, you are more supported than you think, especially when that support comes from within.